They don't know. I'm Mr. Up, watching the man that don't stuff and hear the voice, and this is Gather King 9, representing for DJ Shaka Double. Don't know, so take it to the world, man. They don't know, so glory to words and glory to song and glory to power. Glory to the everlasting life of iration. I'm Mr. Kick it. A God bless time, you know. In the morning, na 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 na. Give thanks for life. Shaka Double. Enough people no live to see this day. Give thanks for life. Remember to always pray on your way. Give thanks for life. DJ Shaka Double. Enough people no live to see this day. Give thanks for life. Shaka Double. Remember to always pray on your way. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Shaka Double playing, and the children are going to school, and the parents are going to work, yeah. Oh, what a beautiful morning, to feel the breeze is blowing, the blue saki and the kiskadi, the 6 o'clock bees, I heard her singing out, cause life is a greatest gift, Shaka Double bring to mankind. Some people say life hard, Shaka Double tell them say life viler. Yeah, give thanks and praise for the mighty rising. Don't give up, my brother. Don't give in, my sisters. Give thanks and praise every day. Shaka Double give thanks for life. As some people no live to see this day. Give thanks for life. DJ Shaka Double, remember to always pray on your way. Give thanks for life. Shaka Double, enough people no live to see this day. Give thanks to life. DJ Shaka Double, remember to always pray on your way. Oh, what a beautiful life I came and I've reached. Give thanks and praise for Shaka Double, juggle big tune. Yeah. The children, they are the future. Shaka Double, don't discriminate them. More life for the youths them. Shaka Double, give thanks and praise for the babe and the suckling, yeah. Just give life, so live life. Not take life, let's cherish life. Let's unite in at this time. Shaka Double, upon the fire. Just give life, so live life. Not take life, let's cherish life. Let's unite in at this time. When you see Shaka Double, tell them, say, give thanks to life. Enough people no live to see this day. Give thanks to life. DJ Shaka Double, remember to always pray on your way. Give thanks to life. Shaka Double, enough people no live to see this day. Give thanks to life. DJ Shaka Double, remember to always pray on your way. Oh, what a beautiful morning. The sun is shining, and the children are going to school, and the parents are going to work, yeah. Oh, what a beautiful morning to hear Shaka Double playing, the blue saki and the kiskadi, the 6 o'clock bees, I heard her singing out, give thanks to life. Shaka Double, enough people no live to see this day, give thanks to life. DJ Shaka Double, remember to always pray on your way. Give thanks to life. Shaka Double, enough people no live to see this day. I hear the voice. They don't know. I'm Mr. Up, watching the man that don't stuff and hear the voice, and this is Gather King 9, representing for DJ Shaka Double. Don't know, so take it to the world, man. They don't know, so glory to words and glory to song and glory to power. Glory to the everlasting life of iration. I'm Mr. Kick it. A God bless time, you know. In the morning, na 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 na. Give thanks for life. Shaka Double. Enough people no live to see this day. Give thanks for life. Remember to always pray on your way. Give thanks for life. DJ Shaka Double, enough people no live to see this day. Give thanks to life. Shaka Double, remember to always pray on your way. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Shaka Double playing, and the children are going to school, and the parents are going to work, yeah. Oh, what a beautiful morning, to feel the breeze is blowing, the blue saki and the kiskadi, the 6 o'clock bees, I heard her singing out, cause life is a greatest gift, Shaka Double bring to mankind. double, tell them so life while yeah. Give thanks and praise for the mighty rising. Don't give up, my brother. Don't give in, my sisters. Give thanks and praise every day. Shaka double, give thanks to life. Cause some people no live to see this day. Give thanks to life. DJ Shaka double. Remember to always pray on your way. Give thanks to life. Shaka double. Enough people no live to see this day. Give thanks to life. DJ Shaka double. Remember to always pray on your way. Oh, what a beautiful life. I came and I've reached. Give thanks and praise for Shaka double. Juggle big tune. Yeah. The children, they are the future. Shaka double, don't discriminate them. More life for the youths, them. Shaka double, give thanks and praise for the babe and the suckling, yeah. Just give life, so live life. Not take life, let's cherish life. Let's unite in at this time. Shaka double, upon the fire. Just give life, so live life. Not take life, let's cherish life. Let's unite. In at this time when you see Shaka double, tell them say, give thanks to life. Cause enough people no live to see this day. Give thanks to life. DJ Shaka double. Remember to always pray on your way. Give thanks to life. Shaka double. Enough people no live to see this day. Give thanks to life. DJ Shaka double. Remember to always pray on your way. Oh, what a beautiful morning. The sun is shining, and the children are going to school, and the parents are going to work, yeah. Oh, what a beautiful morning to hear Shaka double playing. The blue Saki and the Kiskadi, the 6 o'clock bees, I heard they singing out. Give thanks to life. Shaka double, enough people no live to see this day. Give thanks to life. DJ Shaka double. Remember to always pray on your way. Give thanks to life. Shaka double. Enough people no live to see this day. Can you hear the voice?
Blessed sunrise, family. Blessed sunrise. What's going on this Tuesday morning? June the 4th. You know what I'm saying? June the 4th. Blessed sunrise. So it's the beginning of the show. So hope all is well as it could be with you, yours, your loved ones, your family, your neighborhood, your street, your block, your road, your lane, your dirt road, your little mansion, your little hut, your shelter, your comfortable apartment, even if you're sleeping in your vehicle. Whatever is your circumstance, your geographical location, I hope that it is harmonious as it could be at this point in time. I'm still continuing to serenade and to, open up this morning forum. And I ain't really feeling like being in no rush. get into nothing. God, I guess we're gonna get into some things, right? So, as has been said, I'm just gonna play a song or maybe two. I know, and just cool out with the vibes, and then we'll see what's going on as we start the reasoning today. As you can see, I got my conversation card up, Trump card notification, I should say. All right, so blessed sunrise, blessed love. Hope all is well with you, yours, and your loved ones. There we go.
Teach me, teacher. Teach high and I am a teacher. Teach me, teacher. Teach high and I African teacher. I never be late. I always early. I never absent. I always present. That's why I and I not sit down in a no back bay. That he like to be bright, bright, bright. So bright, teach me, teacher. Bright, bright, bright. Teach me, teacher. So bright. Teach me, teacher. African teaching is a part of our Unite culture. Oh, sure. Part of our Unite. Teach me, teacher. Teach I and I am a good teacher. I admit we go to school, but we never finish. Not until when we reach up on the soil of Africa, wherein I and I can be taught by African teacher. Oh, teacher, I and I can be taught by African teacher. Teach me, teacher. Teach I and I am a good teacher. Teach me, teacher. Teach I and I am a good teacher. Oh, right. Teach I and I am a read. I and I like to be teach by African teacher. Oh, right. Not like you be bright, so bright, so bright, so bright. Bright, oh, bright. Bright, not be bright, not be bright, not be bright. So bright. Not like you be teach by African teacher. Teach not the Amari teacher. He's a part of Violite. Oh, right. Not the teacher. Amari teacher. African teacher. Teacher and I, Amari teacher. Teacher and I, not the light teacher. So bright.
All right, family. Blessed sunrise. Miss Sophia, we're going on down in Antigua. I see you. I see you upon the check-in. Blessed sunrise. You know what I mean? And blessed love to everybody who have been blessed with health, strength, sound mind, and able to rise up this day. And as you know what I'm saying, the wonderful woman that I'm with, Usually when I ask her, I say, well, like, how was the day? They said, well, it was productive. I set out and I accomplished to do everything that I wanted to do for the day. So it's like, that's a vibration, and I like, no, that's a positive affirmation. So I hope that whatever you set out to do today, whatever is the intentions, that you get it done. And then maybe if it's something that else you need to come back and do, then just for tomorrow. But make sure you try, you got to try for today. You know what I'm saying? I got to take my own advice too, you understand? But anyways, blessed sunrise, and I'm about to get into it. I'm about to get into it, eh? I say, out. Now let's go, out. Yeah. So you see this profession that I'm in right now. Always a musician, and then people, man, you go with words and stuff like that. Never mind speaking. I did always have aspirations of being a public speaker. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily a podcaster or a radio personality or anything like that. It was more of spokesman. Always wanted to go around and have speeches, and like almost every major TV talk show in the times when I used to be into it, like growing up, I would always imagine myself on what they call on the sofa, on that sofa, whether our senior hall, whatever it is. I mean, and offering my point of view of whatever it is. So to see that life in this journey has brought me to this point where, okay, you still do music, but there is an opportunity now for public speaking. Now, it might not have been at this time how I had thought it would have turned out to be, but nevertheless, it's the same energy, it's the same track, right? Same destiny. So I wanted to touch on that because there was something that I realized. There was I was looking at an economical forum a few years ago, and I remember they made the announcement or suggestion that the highest possibility that would possibly could lead to any kind of disruptive energy of the normal functioning of life in America, it will be propaganda and social media. And so I have found that to be very interesting. And then as I examined over time, because it wasn't like that when YouTube first started, and I'm talking about YouTube in particular, because that's usually basically the main search engine for a lot of different things, whatever. Go to YouTube, type in it, you're going to find some kind of something. Even the most illegal, outrageous things that you might think should not be on YouTube will be on YouTube. And saying that leads me to, I guess it's a little pebble in the path from where I'm going. But what I noticed is over time, at first, YouTube was a place you can go, you can find a lot of old information. That's what actually the YouTube and internet era. For me, that's what solidified like Tupac. And brought a lot of different changes. Why do I say that? Because at that time, that's when, you know, Tupac was seen in the media. That time we didn't have no other alternative way of controlling the narrative, right? So when you saw Tupac, he's spitting at the cameras. They're showing him in an angry, aggressive manner. And then right around the time of his demise, he didn't even get to enjoy it. Actually, it came after him, but he was still in the technological era where videos and the capturing of videos and interviews was popular, and the technology for that was around, and it was on normalcy for artists at that time. Not the common artists, but for artists of that stature. So what happened was, in his demise, in his transitioning, a lot of the footage of the videos of the interviews and so forth that he did now began to surface. And this is part of my opinion. And I think it's something very under detected about the legacy of Tupac, and the movement of that, right? And what I observed was, because there was now this social media platform, oh yeah, my green screen showing. I gotta figure out how to fix my green screen without the thing doing it like that. Hey man. All right. Let me see it off. Why are you doing it like that to me today? All right. I gotta try to figure out certain things. You know what I'm saying? I'm an independent. We're coming from home. And for those that anyway, I'm gonna leave it like that. So Tupac, once the media and the footage in the media began to circulate, that's when people began to see his intelligence. And then shortly after, you know, the books and so forth, the poetry and things of that nature came about. But the Black conscious awareness also got a springboard in that time. What am I talking about? There was a time when, if you wanted to get like certain videos and footage, in America, you used to go to video rental places. And this is even before like the blockbusters, even the blockbusters were out. You had to go to, you know what I'm saying, your local, in your neighborhood. So there was this neighborhood video store on Rutland, right when you was about to approach the train station. Rutland train number 3 train in Brooklyn. And they used to have this section. It was a black section. And not a lot of video places had that. But this one particular place, that's just where my energy led me to. That's what they had. They had this section. This is where I discovered videos with Paul Robeson, his early movies. Like the other day I played the Silent movie and so forth, his first one. And a lot of other things when he did the play. I believe it's Othello, right? And so what it is, you had to go to certain places, downtown Brooklyn, certain bookstores, Harlem, 125th Street, 116th, some of the little, you know, you had to know the places to go to get certain things. So what happened with the internet, and especially the YouTube, specifically the YouTube era, a lot of people started to upload now these lectures that were taking a place that they were never able to attend to, they'd only heard about. A lot of people had heard about Dr. Clark, Dr. Ben, Dr. Amos Wilson. I mean, so many others, right? That used to be putting it down, especially up in Harlem and stuff in certain parts of Brooklyn, like, you know what I'm saying, giving up that knowledge. And so these videos and this footage finally was able to come out. This is how even myself personally, I was able to study, learn how to be a critical thinker, analyze, etc., etc., based on watching a lot of, besides my natural intelligence, watching Dr. Clark and Dr. Ben specifically, Dr. Ivan Van Sertima. That's when I became aware of, oh, there's a Guyanese scholar that's in a realms from the country that I came from. What? Right? And so these information started to surface. And a lot of people were not able to attend these classes, and a lot of information that was not privy to us was now available on the social media platform. So YouTube was like that place you can find that thing. So my reason for saying that is that in this day and age, when you go to get like a Dr. Clark, Dr. Ben, or some of those old legends, or even any of the old footages, good luck. What you'll see is the post date. It'd probably be like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. It's a hard and difficult thing to find those footages that were posted 10 and 20 years ago. You understand what I'm saying? When the rawness was there, people were putting out, a lot of those stuff have been pulled down. And that leads me to, the conversation I'm having, because a lot of time, like in this day and age, you'll find that the past president that we had in the United States of America and the next upcoming president to be, Donald Trump, utilizes this social media forum on a level, right? But, they say what's good for the goose is not good for the gander and all that. It's the same way, I'm going to repeat it and say it, that I'm blocked out of Facebook and all this kind of stuff. And you don't have no way to conversate, reason with these people. There's no one-on-one. That one-on-one human interaction is going out the window. You know what I'm saying? If you're the type of person that likes to, call a place of business, so to speak, and you want to get to talk to somebody live, like, there's like certain little specific questions that I have, but I just want to get some answers to. Yeah, y'all see me switching and fidgeting this thing. I don't know why the focus of my green screen. I did some movement this morning with that green screen thing, so I guess it moved down a little too much. So there I go. Losing my track of mind, trying to do too much at the same time. But the changing in the format of the media over time is a very serious thing. Like I said, now you're getting blocked. This was supposed to be that free forum. Oh, but then they make it a thing now where you're informing on each other. I don't like that. Report abuse, this, that. So, even on a political level, in which people who are not even in politics, that, there might be somebody you don't like, and you get on some real petty stuff, you know what I'm saying? And you're like, yo, you saw them post a video. Or maybe it's a female or something. And I'm doing too much this morning. And, she's shaking or doing something. And there's another girl, or maybe it's a dude too, who's hating. She left him. Report. Now your video been blocked or something. Who knows? Maybe you're fundraising to raise some money to buy some food or some supplies or something. And you figured that, I have a nice shape. You know what I'm saying? Why not just come and do a little dance? I ain't take off nothing. You got to wear something tight. But it opens the door without no regulation. Right? And, some people say, oh, you got to go to the emails. You got to respond. You got to do this. Listen to me. That's what I'm talking about. The censorship was good for the goose and what's not good for the gander. All right? And people say, oh, they do it to celebrities too, and this and that and that and that. Okay, cool. So let's keep it moving then. I believe yesterday, oh man, I was about to call him. I think it's Alex Jones. I was about to call him Alex Haley. I don't like when this thing is so close to me. So this background just got to be like the way it is. So, disgusting. You know what? Y'all give me a second. Let me see if I can work out something.
They don't know.
Wrong thing. Give me a second. I'm trying to see if I could possibly change my background. But it's just giving me this specific all right, so that kind of hides it a little bit. Gives it a more like a little camouflage look. You'll kind of have to figure out like, hey, what's going on? Makes me look like I'm in a 3D kind of way. So yes, Farrakhan, right? Alex Jones, I believe that's his last name. He was in court yesterday. Those are one of the two early individuals I remember that got banned and restricted from off of YouTube and social media platforms. Why? Because they were broadcasting. The following was too large. This is what it is for me. The following was too large, and you're broadcasting. You're an influencer. It's like what happened with Kyrie. What happened with the sports athletes? If they choose to say something about a realistic real life situation is happening, there might be a civil unrest or something, especially if it's pertaining to the African descendants, right? And so because your platform, it's so wide and it can reach and influence these people, you cannot be on social media platform. So that leads me to where this conversation is going to this morning. A little warm up. I wasn't feeling like jumping right into it. You understand what I'm saying? So let me just play this quick little commercial, and I'm gonna come back and get into it. Hey, so yo, check it straight to the point. I don't know if I might be able to live in America for the long term. I am not the type of person that run away, be like, oh, I got to get away, things is this and that. But when I see and observe serious things and it touches my soul in a different way, but most importantly, this camera that I'm in front of, talking and so forth, conversations that I'm having, as I'm paying attention to what's going on in the media and so forth, the politics that's taking place, right? A lot of people in the Caribbean, they would say, oh, it's the government that got the people because the country is not economically performing well. They say it's the government that has the people divided and is creating in the corruption, right? That's usually the theme. But let me tell you something. In the United States of America, and if they didn't teach this to the whole rest of the world, maybe that's why y'all take it to another level. Because the less that you have is the more you fight over a little bit. When there's more than enough, or there's enough, or it's more, you tend to be a little negotiating about it, right? So in the United States of America, this Democrat and Republican thing is the same thing. What's going on now in the media, or not even in the media, in real life, in real time? Donald Trump is in court specifically because it's the Democrats that is going after an angle, which is to try to prevent him. This is what I'm talking about. Even when it comes down to the whole puppy situation, things come out that, okay, people's actions, they're going to have to deal with that. But what disturbs me the most is the reason behind the lies, the narrative behind why these things, because they're trying to make it happen like the projected in the way of like the way these things happen. They're bringing it out because of these bad things. These bad things this person have done. It's not that. It's a internal, in their world, a war, a competition, a fight, a struggle, a dispute. So what they do, many different tactics. One of those tactics, especially today, utilizing the social media platform and television and all this stuff like that, is defamation of character. Because sometimes with defamation of character, listen to me, man, I could break you, bankrupt you, have you even in jail. By the time, so it's like, I don't even have to kill you. I can make your life even more worse or miserable for you internally. Your existence. So the Democrats are the ones who got Trump in court. Don't get it confused. It's not the people. The people ain't know nothing about nothing and care nothing about nothing. All right? And the government acting like it's the government and this is the day for the judiciary system. And it's the what? Yo, listen to me, man. You're going to miss me. Let me tell you something. When you come here to Reasoning Uncensored, let me tell you something. This is mental gymnastics, and this, hey, we don't do them boxes over here. You see all them games that these people playing? Man, listen to me. I'm going to play some of them today, too. The Roland Martin, all them. Listen to me, man. These dudes is hopscotching. Out here hopscotching. And nobody, this is why I'm leading to what I'm going to say. Because real people who going to be bringing like real journalism, real information, these platforms is going to be outlawed for them. You understand what I'm saying? See, for example, if there's a time now, oh, and it's coming, the World War IV, trust me. I'm not the type of person that gets into that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? When I used to look at people before in certain times and they just say, no, say this and say, I'm like, maybe, maybe not. But I'd be like, a lot of hype. But you see, when I'm saying it, like I said, because I don't really say these things unless I really understand it and feel it and see a vision of it on what's going on. So when some certain things is going on now, and this is why Kanye is saying you can't be allowed to say nothing about the Jews because it's a direct connection to Israel. So you cannot. They're going to shut you down. We're going to take $1 billion away from you, or how many billions in hours to prove this point. Right? So it's the smoke screen of the things that's going on. And I'm bouncing back and forth. Y'all know how I do. So then you got Biden's son. He's in court. Who you think pulled the strings? Not the people. That's the Republican Party. They're like, yo, you putting a squeeze on me on this, I'll put a squeeze back on you. And if you don't follow certain footages of media, listen, just because I'm now doing this podcast and stuff in a different way, have led me to now research and dig into more information in certain stuff. And I remember I was watching a program with Angela Yee one time, whatever, she's on one of her things. And she was stating there's I think when she was preparing to come for a new show, and the guy was asking her, like, how do you prepare for your show? How you get your information stuff? She's like, a lot of news. And today, when I'm getting into that, I laugh because I remember when she said that. And so I'm the type of person that I'm not into this. I'm watching Fox or I'm watching whatever the other. I don't even know which ones are the Democrats, Republicans, whatever. And if I do find out, I do know, I'm still gonna go look because I have my own objective mind. But that's what I'm saying. They've got it so divided. People only watch certain channels. You talking about United States of America. And y'all talking about in the Caribbean and all this kind of stuff, the violence and this and that happens during election. This stuff don't happen here. It's the same thing happening in a different way. All right. So moving around, shifting the marbles again. Like I said, if something breaks out and there's a war now, no, when World War IV comes around, and depending on what the climate and who's against who, this, that, yo, having these conversations, just me being able to say certain things that I'm saying now, post certain clips, I'm telling you, it goes out the window, especially when it's declared a state of emergency. See, you see, when those words, a state of don't let nobody make some internal attack, or there's an attempt of an outward attack, like physically, like never experienced it. What? You are not getting on these social media platforms and thinking that you're going to have some opinion, and even if, especially opinion about what you think is going on, and how America calls this on themselves and this to that. I'm trying to tell you, it's going to be a different ballgame. If you think now you're getting censored and muted and just for a few days, boom, kicked off, right? There's probably going to be a lot of what you call dark web, black market webbing and information, a lot of sites and stuff that's popping up. It's going to have internet police and people who are intellectual media personalities and journalists now will be living the life of like a mobster and gangster. And if you don't know that, go research the history of journalists and so forth in times of war, in serious situations. Go find out. Even the ones that are right now, like in the Middle East and so forth. Because when these things are happening, journalists is like, they're somebody got to cover it. So people go to these things. And when you go on that type of journalism, it's a serious thing. And then there are certain things that depend on what side you're on representing in that war when you're there. Yeah, you can't give that perspective from the other side because you're there under the protection of this side that allows you to be in their safe zone and broadcast and get information and talk to such and such and go to certain little press conferences when the president or whoever makes certain announcements. So this whole freedom of speech thing is an illusion. It's a freedom of speech until a certain time. And then the thing about it too is that just like the same way I said, you can't find a lot of those videos, it's 10 years ago and so forth. It'll be the same way when you're trying to find even recent stuff when those times come. Because the AI, if the AIs right now are detecting how I got kicked off of the social media, the Facebook and the Instagram. That's the AI job, right? The AIs will start censoring all those things. Boop, boop, boop. And even the ones that don't even have, you know what I'm saying, anything to do, they just got to hear one word thinks it sounds like something or whatever the case might be, and then that is going to be it. You know what I'm saying? So this what I'm doing, I take seriously because I do foresee a very near future, and it started to happen already. Where you'll be very limited on what you can do on these social media platforms. Extremely limited. You know what? Let me get into. I got a few footages, right? But I got another question. Because like I said yesterday, I told you I was gonna bring it today. Make a prediction. I started to show a brief video, so let me get into that video from yesterday to recollect. So then we could get into forward. That was the surface. Get a little deeper. Let's go.
And memorials are taking place across the United States to mark 22 years since the attacks on 9/11. Nearly 3,000 people were killed that day in what remains the deadliest terror attack on U.S. soil.
Those events led to the so-called global war on terror, but many analysts believe the biggest threats America faces today are on its own doorstep. William Denso reports from New York.
The attacks on 9/11 changed the face of public safety in the US. The first director of the Office of Homeland Security was appointed just 11 days after the Twin Towers fell, and the New York Police Department created a counterterrorism bureau.
So many surveillance resources were used to unconstitutionally target Muslim New Yorkers, Arab New Yorkers, South Asian New Yorkers, and really surveil their homes, schools, houses of worship.
Michael Bloomberg, who became mayor of New York City just months after the attacks, said this intelligence gathering was legal and designed to keep the country safe. In the aftermath of 9/11, there was a major focus on preventing the next large-scale terrorist strike. In 2003, there were concerns that Al-Qaeda was plotting a chemical strike on the New York subway system. The deadliest terrorist attacks in New York since 9/11 was back in 2017, when a man drove a truck down a bike path, killing 8 people. Concrete barriers have since been erected around parts of the city to help prevent such attacks occurring again.
It's really hard to measure the precise effects of all of those kinds of preemptive or preventive.
All right. So, as he was saying, the prediction, domestic terrorism, the highest disruptive potential energy in the United States of America. Now, what does that mean? And where does that necessarily come from? When there's a war that's taking place and the other side let me run a quick commercial. I got something going on in my background. Let me run a quick commercial, y'all, and then I'll be right back.
They don't know. I miss up watching the man that don't know stuff and hear the voice, and this is Gather King 9 representing for DJ Shaka Double. Don't know so take it to the world, man. They don't know so glory to words and glory to song and glory to power. Glory to the everlasting life of iration. I miss kick it. A God bless time, In the morning. Na 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 na. Give thanks to life. Shaka Double. Enough people to live to see this day. Give thanks to life. Remember to always pray on your way. Give thanks to life. DJ Shaka Double. Enough people to live to see this day. Give thanks to life. Shaka Double. Remember to always pray on your way.
All right, cool. So, domestic terrorism. What brings those threats? Usually when there is a conflict that your country is dealing with away from where you are. And in these times, obviously, without sugarcoating it, these countries from the outside, particularly, you know what I'm saying, this whole, you see, it's so much nonsense. Democrat, Republicans, Islam, and the Judaics, and the this and the that. Like these people just can't stop making life miserable for human beings. So, based on what's going on, some of these countries might say, hey, listen, we don't have the artillery, certain things, whatever. We're just going to do something internally that will probably kind of hurt them in their infrastructure that we can't do from the outside because the defense is too much. So this is where the domestic terrorism threats really starts to rise from, in my analytic point of view. And so if you really are aware of the climate of things that's taking place in the world right now, I'm talking about from the Ukraine situation on that side to what they're now talking about nuclear stuff. I hope y'all are paying attention to what's going on with Israel and the whole Iran and that whole situation with all the other different countries that's involved around there. You understand what I'm saying? The foreign allies, the world power allies ain't getting into it like that. They got into it in certain ways. Right? When Iran sent all those missiles and stuff over, little tests, whatever, little game they playing to show off what they got. And then the other ones say, like, hey, let me show you. And so, you know, America and whoever else was there to help and assist Israel at that time from those missile display. So these things are continuing to happen. I had a vision maybe like a year and a half ago. And I'm going to tell you what, the reason why I'm saying this too. I'm an avid dreamer. Y'all know I told y'all about Tupac and stuff like that. For those that know and follow what I deal with. I also had dreamt the World Trade Center. And I just so happened to be not in it, but you could say I was in it. Came home, white and all, had to walk across the Manhattan Bridge. No, Brooklyn, which one we had to use? I can't remember which one we had to use because they had the Brooklyn Bridge. Was it the Brooklyn Bridge? Pablo G. Wapner, maybe it was the Brooklyn Bridge. Nah. Because I was in Manhattan. No, it was the Manhattan Bridge. The Brooklyn Bridge was couldn't get through there. So I had this dream. And at that time, let me set the stage. I was about 18, 19. And I was a Rasta at that time. And so, you know, and I'm, you know, almost what they would say like fanatical because of your, you know what I'm saying, when you're new into certain things, your vibration level, your, you know, for it is so passionate and you know what I'm saying, you're, you know, you're so all in, you know. And Miss Sophia, next time I play a song or two, I got to go into my chats. Let me tell you, Miss Sophia, my host be in it, right? So in this dream now, I'm a Rasta, but like I said, I'm not a Rasta in this dream. I'm a Rasta at that time. And so my point of view is very radical as a young Rasta. So I have this dream, and in this dream, something's going on. It's a major disturbance, and I'm in a basement with a group of people, and we're trying to evacuate and leave out of this basement. And it's like a building basement. It's not like a regular house basement. It's like, you know, with the pipes and all that kind of stuff. So eventually we got to, like, there was a manhole. So I guess we were under the streets. So when we saw this manhole, there was a guy that was leading the group of us. It's in my dream. And when he got to this manhole, he panicked and he was scared to open it. So I was like, man, I'm saying, let me get that. So I went and I took the lead and I pushed open this manhole. So when I pushed open the manhole, like a German Shepherd, the mouth came barking, oof, right at me. I pulled back or whatever. And then it was like a soldier or those like SWAT police, the serious level when things are turned up, when they come out with the dogs. And then they recognized like we were people that belonged to them. And so eventually whatever happened, we came out of this hole. They let us out of it. When I came out of the hole, that's when I saw like what appeared to be, but it was New York City, but it felt like the United States. And it was like the United States was under attack. And when I looked, there was like at least like 2 or 3 buildings on fire. And then I happened to we were being evacuated. And somehow we're taken in an elevator. And I remember looking down in the elevator and looking at this fire, like certain things is going on in the city and the chaos. And I'm like, wow, this is like the end of America. And, like I said, I'm an avid dreamer. I don't just dream any and everything. So I was like, okay. But as a roster, like I said, being youthful at that point in time of my life, I was amplified in my interpretation. I'm like, oh, America, what we done, man? I'm kind of crazy. Like, I might have to leave this country, such and such. Time came to be. I just happened to be working about 3 to 4 blocks the most from the World Trade Center at that time. And actually, it was a place I used to go shopping all the time when I came home from work. So now I forgot about this dream. 5 years after this dream. And this is the first time I had a confirmation too that I can not only, because as an average dreamer, there's things I learned about my dreaming process. Whereas I could take a nap and I could have a dream about something I need to get up and do that's pertaining to that day in the next few hours. I can have a dream today of something few days later. I can have a dream and a vision of something for a few weeks and then something for a few months. And then I learned that I can actually take it up to a year. And then with the World Trade Center was the first time that I learned that I can vision for years, right? And even with me coming to Talk of the Town and doing that, working on that radio station, even though I didn't understand that dream and that vision, right? That's a vision that was like 15, 17 years, right? So, because these are the things that propel me, keeps me going. So now with this vision of the 9/11 and forgotten out of my mind, but I'm working in a very close radius proximity from the World Trade Center. And I remember I went to work that day and I was doing security. As a musician, security was always like my side thing where I ain't got to worry too much about nothing and this and that. I could, get past certain things and just like, 1, 2, and focus on what I got to do. So, which was music and entertainment, you know what I'm saying? So I remember I went to work that morning of the 9/11 and remind you, I want to put this in there right quick too, because it's very, 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 very important to understand. On what you call the Gregorian calendar, which is what we have and what we use, right? They call it September the 11th, 9/11, and it coincides with 9/11. And it's not a coincidence, it's a natural mystic or a natural order, because 9/11 actually on the oldest calendar that the African descendant ancestors have created, and the longest existing one that Ethiopia still uses, and the Coptic, I believe, or don't get me confused, whichever church of Egypt still uses, right? September 9/11 is the first day of the year. So when that happened, it was strategically done not to say, listen, boy, we're not working on your calendar. We stamping this in the history of time on that from the ancient times. We bringing all that energy on the real time scale. This is going to be heavy effects. This is not January the 1st. It's 9/11, which on the oldest calendar on this earth, which is designed by the Africans, including this one, but they just altered this and recreated and did whatever. So we can't claim like they done messed that one up a little. You know what I'm saying? So that other calendar, 9/11, is the beginning of the year, right? And so now I go to work. The elevator opens up. I got my assignment, what floor I goes on. And it opens up, and I'm like, I remember I look, I'm like, And this is something that from that day, I don't ever do, no matter where I go and what's going on. It's this day made me check me saying what I've said to myself. I came out the elevator, I looked. Usually the hallway's kind of busy, but remember what they said. There was also a holiday that day. Anyway, so I go up in there and I'm like, today's gonna be a good day. It's quiet. And then I sat down behind my desk, prepared my stuff, thinking I'm gonna have my breakfast and everything. I didn't even get to that. It was about 2. All I heard was boom. And that wasn't what it was. I guess what I learned later on, it was the air, the wind pressure, because like I'm saying, I'm in close proximity. The windows started to do something like a movie. No exaggeration. Like it wants to bust out from the air pressure. So it's like I've never, listen, I don't know how it held because you can literally see the frame. So the only thing left for me, because I said, what? This glass about to shatter. I'm about to get cut up all of my face and everything. So I'm like under my desk. Because, it's one of those desks that got the leg part. You put the stuff, so I went under there. Boom, like, that war bunker thing. Because then it slowed down and no window broke. Then a guy came running out from, can't remember what wing of the building that was. Maybe it was the blessed love to everybody who just come in. And they're in the middle of something and talk to you, I just know. So he comes running out from my right side. And he's like, oh, they just attacked the World Trade Center. And I still don't really understand what he was saying. So I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, they did it again. This is the second time, because he was employed as working there when the first time when they tried to get it from the bottom with the explosives. So he's like, oh, they're trying it again. This is real time. Mind you, I had this dream, this vision, thinking nothing of it at this time neither. So the direction that he came running out from, I said, well, let me go see what's going on. So I gets up and I go over there in the middle of me looking at one of the World Trade Center buildings on fire. Here comes a plane in real time. And I'm looking. Now I'm seeing it in real time. What? Everybody is it's under these desks again, because these windows is like the air pressure. That's why when people, listen, man. I'm diverging for a second. I'm mixing my thing up a whole lot. This is why I could not cease for being nothing but a rebel for truth, an honor rebel for truth and harmony. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people talk about love, but harmony, right? And sometimes people love each other in the same house. You got no harmony there. What's going on? But what made me stop for a second, because just thinking about that air pressure made me just think of bombs, because that's what they did. They created a human bomb, so to speak. Not one that's controlled by device or external. Right? But that's what I'm saying. When we talk about these domestic things, when people are at a position when they say, well, look, listen, you're too strong, you're too powerful for me to get to you. You gotta figure some other kind of way to hurt you. You know what I'm saying? It's like a big, strong person, like, oh my goodness, this person, boom, boom, punch me up, and you look around and you say there's a stick or a piece of, I'm like, hey, you're trying to use it, right? Where under normal circumstances, you wouldn't. You give this person a fair shot. But anyway, seeing the second plane, live and direct, hitting the floor. And what I'm thinking, what made me stop, like I said, because bombs. Just imagine when bombs drop. Just imagine the air pressure, the destruction. And then, when you hear these political leaders, I'm diverging for a little bit. And they're like, we have the arsenal of this and we have that. And it's like, even the mentality, but I understand it in the sense that, we as African descendants, or myself as an African descendant, isn't it unbelievable that you could have been placed in chains on boats and stuff, forced to defecate, poop, all on yourself, on the next person, pee up on them, you die from diseases, come here and change this, that. We did not even thought a day like that would ever come, that there would ever be a form of human being that would consider to take it to that level to which it was taken to. And the ramifications, what we're still dealing with even today. And many, 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 many more years to come. So getting back to my dream and this World Trade Center thing. And so now seeing this and fast forward now, I'm doing security, got in contact with my supervisor. My supervisor went to Vietnam. And this was also a very interesting thing. Because of what was taking place, the assistant supervisor called me, she was like, yo, Rock, you need to come up here right now. So I'm like, okay, bet. So I come upstairs. He's sitting in the corner, going in shell shock. Because this is something that's happening in real time. People was looking at this on TV. I'm telling you, we're in close proximity, building shaking, all that is going on, right? I'm skipping certain details, like to the point of before I left that office after that second plane and what I'm looking at. Do you know ants nest, what an ants nest is? Have you ever hit an ants nest before? See, there's certain things in footage, I don't even know if they show it now, but it's different when you're watching in real time. So if you have ever seen when somebody hits an ant's nest and how all the ants started, that's what was happening with the people. It was an ant's nest. You understand what I'm telling you? And then the thing about it, from my proximity, what was going on when I'm looking, because when they hit the ground, there was nothing to be seen but a speck. So moving forward, I get the call on the radio, Rock, the supervisor, come up here. So I comes up there, he's in the corner. He went into shell shock from being in Vietnam, whatever that kicked. Like, these are real life things. And he's shaking, shimmering in the corner, hugging on something like another world thing, right? So I'm like, whoa. I'm on 1, 2, 3. Okay, get him. And I'm just like, I gotta just go and do what he's supposed to do. Hit all the floors, boom, 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 such and such, 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 et cetera, et cetera. That's part of the dream. Somebody we're in this situation, trying to leave from somewhere, because at that time, because that was our cover, a manhole cover. See, these things even revealing some more as I'm talking. At that time, I remember, because our main contract was for the Department of Transportation, the DOT. And so the DOT had, even though there were other government bodies in that building, like the DEP, Department of Water and so forth, and a few others, DOT for some reason had like the say of it, right? And what it is was that because at that time, this is what it is. At that time, DOT's commissioner was Irish Wineshaw. And these are the things they don't put together. Irish Wineshaw, her husband is Chuck Schumer. Their last name different, don't get it confused. She has run every department in New York City, the most powerful woman out here, if you don't know. Understand what I'm saying? Yeah, but the name, she don't be no media thing. She just control this thing. Understand what I'm saying? Check it. Every department, major, whatever. She ran it on, so she got all the strings with that. Her husband is Chuck Schumer, the senior top dog for this. See, so when you see this Donald Trump thing and all stuff, it's people like that trying to still got some muscle in negotiating. They've been around so long. So coming through the DOT now, she's like giving the order that we need to stay inside. That's what the order is. No one leaves. And so no one left because they were like, there's a fear for what's outside. But when that second plane hit, you couldn't tell nobody nothing. You understand me, right? So, and that's where I came in And we were like, okay, evacuation started that. That's the part of the dream and the vision where I said, I'm in a tunnel. We're trying to we're supposed to stay covered. Now when we get out, it's these dogs, the military, and all this kind of stuff. Buildings on fire. That's what I came out to. 2 World Trade Centers. And there was another building behind us. That one had another situation that was going on. Listen, it was so much going on that day, right? But as I reflected back into it, you know what I'm saying? It was part of my vision and preparedness. So why am I saying that? I'm going to play a quick commercial, and then I'm going to come right back and tell y'all what I'm going to say. You know, I got to warn y'all. Somehow, they, after this thing, I guess maybe it's like gigabytes memories that start to build up over a certain time. It might start slow down and cut out. And I think if it does, because I'm feeling a little vibe today, I might come right back. I might end the stream and then come right back if it starts to glitch too much to the point where it's a disruptive, platform. It's disruptive for you to vision and see. All right, so commercial, and we'll be right back. All right. And we are back. So I left, came home, walked from Manhattan, came all the way to Brownsville. And it was such an ironic thing that by the time when I got over to Brownsville, I'm all white and from a whole different situation. Everybody in Brooklyn was like, hey, what's going on? Y'all like, it was a different vibration. So for those who don't understand that, even today, when you see that Brooklyn is being gentrified, that was part of the reason. And that was one of the incentives that made them come up with that decision to say, you know what, let's move out of Manhattan where there's too many high security things at risk for us to live in Manhattan. Let's just go work over there. Understand me? Let's come and live in Brooklyn. And then also the migration of Europeans, right? There's a lot of talk about immigrant migration from the border of Mexico and so forth, but the conversation about the migration of Europeans into America, that's not one that's being had, right? And spoken about. So why am I talking about the World Trade and that vision? Because like I said, I had another vision approximately like a year and a half ago. So I don't know what's going to be the time frame for that one to play out. But what I do know is that, hey, listen, I'm on this platform now. Why keep it to myself? And for those that take things seriously, I do think these are times for us to be prepared. So within this dream and this vision, it was a short one. It's not as long as the other one. And basically what it was, the sun was out. And whatever the reason, there was a attention to look in the sky. And then because I wasn't the only person, I was like kind of outdoor, and everybody looked up at the sun. And then because of what happened or what was happening, the orange sun changed color, and it got like purple or something. You understand what I'm saying? But what it was, the sky of itself was green. You understand what I'm saying? Like the air, right? So like gamma rays, right? And so like this was in that dream, I felt the same I felt in the World Trade Center. Like this is something like whoa, like this was. And the craziest thing about that dream though, in the one with the World Trade Center, I felt like, because I went in a helicopter and I was leaving. So I was leaving from Manhattan, seeing the fire in the situation, which is, me walking to Brooklyn, leaving where all the heat and the hostility was happening. But in this recent dream, it was like this, like helpless, doomed feeling, like that feeling where like there's nothing to do, like you couldn't do nothing about what the hell was taking place here. And I remember only thing I did was look at this. There was some young lady next to me. I remember looking like, yo, do you see this? And that's what I remember. So what I'm talking about is that vision is I am looking at what's going on the political field and so forth. There's a hope on a certain level that, as crazy it is, that if Trump's getting office, then certain wars, it's not going to happen because he's the person who knows how to negotiate with these guys. I don't know. I beg to differ. But at the same time, this Democratic administration is a hot seat too. Because no matter what, they all believe in wars, funding money, and making money, right? But there's a crazy narrative that's going on at this point in time that haven't been seen for a long time. With the United States and Russia and China, there's a lot of competitive energy going on. And for a long time, America's been very dominant, especially economically and so forth, strategically around the world. But for the first time in history, I think there's a slight sense of, you guys might not be as strong as, like, people like, play around, I test you. Or if you think you want to test us, go ahead. Like, we ain't scared no more. Well, go ahead. We see what's going to happen. That's the atmosphere, right? This guy right here that I'm about to play. So basically what I'm saying is that was a dream about that's a nuclear explosion. Or maybe even multiple. To the point, because the only reason why the sun is going to turn purple and the sky is going to turn green is because of the gamma rays and the releasing of all those are different type of energy. So now when you look up, it's not that the sun turned to that. It's because of the pollution and the radiation in the atmosphere. That's what the projection is going to be looking like. And you would think these people got kids and family on this earth? Really? Well, hey, man, I mean, what else can we say, right? Because on a certain level, is it not same way equal to, and I'm talking as an African descendant, how we out here just, our music and everything, how we talk and move about just walking up on your brother, just airing him out. His mama, his daddy, his father, whoever his child could get it to while he holding a baby in his arm, this and that. It's the same mentality that's been passed down to you, because these people, for example, look at what's going on with Israel and certain stuff, right? In the Gaza and all this situation. And right now, if you pay attention to the narrative, I'm the type of person, I'll pay attention to narratives. They could miss me and skip me with the projection. The main point is like they have hostages for us. Like 3 or whatever the number is. I don't even want to get into that. And so what it is that we're going to come, because you have 3. So thousands, hundreds, millions of people put 3 hostages. So there's no other way for y'all to just chill out and keep talking till y'all figure out a way to work out 3 hostages or whatever, how many hostages, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 versus hundreds of thousands of millions of people. Because when those things project and trickle off into a different level and a different scale, multiple countries involved, and so forth. I have a 26-year-old son. I also have a 15-year-old son. So let's say if I have within that dream how I dreamt the World Trade Center, and it was a 5-year, and I was like, wow, 5 years. And I said I dreamt this one approximately a year ago, year and a half. And let's say we got another 4 years on this, 5 years. How many of our kids going to be subjected to drafts and stuff? See, these are things people are not even thinking about. How prepared really are you for something like that happens? Is there a safe place? Well, if you're here, then you're not necessarily unless you got the money. Then those with the money, that's not a question. They make the moves. But for example, there's always questions about, oh, would you return home, for example, to people from the Caribbean and Africa and stuff like that, from the South Americas? And in times of moment like that, now, would it be even safe to be in those places? Because remember, everybody's interconnected. There's an organization formed, a group of countries called BRICS. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. Look at that. Even Africa, different countries will be getting drawn into depending on their affiliation. So it's not just a 3 people thing or 4 or 10 people thing. The people are so strong. Yeah, I know. But I guess that's that gangster thing or whatever. It's like if you're in your house and there's something going on and then somebody come and kidnaps your uncle and your cousin and your brother. And then they got them in the other building 10 blocks down. Do you negotiate and wait until it's time for them to be ready to give your family back? Or do you say, man, you know what? I'm going up in there and I'm getting them. Right? So there's where we at. Let's get into some conversation. We're going to get a Republican point of view. Blessed Sunrise family. This is Reasoning Uncensored.
Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. Happy anniversary. This week marks the 7-month anniversary of the beginning of the war in Ukraine. Something is still going on and isn't talked about quite as much anymore. So the day that war began, which was February 24th, 2 things were very obvious. The first was that there was no way the Ukrainian army would be able to win a decisive military victory over Russia. And the reason was simple. Russia is too big. Ukraine is too small. The Russian military is many times the size of the Ukrainian military. Plus, of course, it has nuclear weapons. Russia itself is the largest country on planet Earth. It's got a relatively huge economy for the region, and it's got 145 million people who live there. Ukraine has a population of about 40 million. It's the poorest country in Europe. It's got an average annual income that is much lower than Albania's. Yay! So just by looking at the most basic Wikipedia-level numbers, it was clear right away that if Ukraine wanted to remain a sovereign country, and of course all of us wanted that for Ukraine, Ukraine was going to have to reach some kind of negotiated settlement with Russia. Pitched battles were not going to do it. Now, that's not a moral judgment. You can root for the Ukrainian military all you want.
A what?
But it's still a fact, and there's no getting around it. The second thing that was immediately evident about this war was how unusually destructive it was and was going to be. It wasn't just Ukraine that was getting pummeled, though it certainly was. It was the entire Western economy, including our economy. Russian energy fuels Europe. A recession in Germany was certain to lead to a recession here, and in the months since, it has, a bad one. The longer this war goes on, inevitably, the poorer everyone is going to be, with the exception probably of Vladimir Putin. So we are breaking things that are very hard to rebuild. Again, this was very obvious the first day of the war. You weren't allowed to say it at the time. Anyone who did was denounced as a Russian spy. But it was still clearly true. And the Ukrainians certainly understood it. Back in April, according to an account in Foreign Policy magazine, negotiators from the governments of Russia and Ukraine met secretly and, quote, appeared to have tentatively agreed on the outlines of a negotiated interim settlement to end the war. The terms of the deal were simple. Russia would withdraw its troops from Ukraine. Ukraine would promise not to join NATO.
Real careful.
So each side would get the thing that it wants most, simple and effective, and it might have worked. But the Biden administration adamantly opposed this settlement. Biden's advisors didn't just want the Russians to leave Ukraine. That's what they told us they wanted on television. But no. Biden's advisors wanted a total regime change war against Russia. Apparently to avenge the election of Donald Trump, which they believed Putin was responsible for, and they were willing to fight to the last Ukrainian to get it. So on April 9th of this year, the White House dispatched its hapless cutout, then British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, to Kiev. According to Ukrainian news media, Johnson communicated two messages to the Zelensky government.
You see where I'm coming from?
Quote, the first is that Putin is a war criminal. He should be pressured, not negotiated with. And the second is that even if Ukraine is ready to sign some agreements on guarantees with Putin, the West is not. In other words, who cares what the Ukrainians want? America and the UK demand total war with Russia, regime change war with Russia. And of course, the Ukrainians, caught in the middle, had no choice but to concede. So days later, the peace negotiations fell apart. This was virtually unreported at the time, but it was the turning point in the war in Ukraine.
Oh, that's a lot of damage.
This was the moment where the goal changed from restoring Ukraine to what it was before the invasion, and that seems reasonable to everyone in the West, to something very different, to a war designed to topple Vladimir Putin, just like we toppled Saddam Hussein, and then hoping for the best afterward. That is clearly insane and dangerous. But that's where we are. And from that point on, everything changed. And that is how we got to where we are today, which is the closest we have ever been to nuclear conflict in history. This week, President Zelensky of Ukraine gave an interview to the left-wing newspaper, The Guardian.
Whoa!
And in it, he casually called for the United States to nuke Vladimir Putin. Quote, the other nuclear states need to say very firmly that as soon as Russia even thinks of carrying out nuclear strikes on foreign territory, in this case the territory of Ukraine, there will be swift retaliatory nuclear strikes to destroy the nuclear launch sites in Russia. Parse that, and we're quoting, as soon as Russia even thinks of carrying out nuclear strikes, meaning before Russia actually launches missiles, the U.S. needs to launch nuclear weapons against Russia. In other words, we need to launch nuclear weapons now. Why now? And how do we know that's what Zelensky meant?
Oh, wait.
Because Zelensky was responding to this warning from the Russian government on Wednesday. Watch.
I want to remind you that our country also has various means of destruction.
What?
And for separate components and more modern than those of NATO countries. And when the territorial integrity of our country is threatened to protect Russia and our people, we will certainly use all means at our disposal. It's not a bluff.
It's not a bluff, says Putin, who we are told is insane, so we probably should take it seriously. He is, after all, running a country with the largest nuclear arsenal on the planet. And he's talking about using nuclear weapons if the West continues to threaten Russia's territorial integrity. It's a conditional warning. And of course, threatening Russia's territorial integrity was never part of the deal, right? You remember this. It's why you wore a Ukrainian lapel pin or put a Ukrainian flag in front of your house. Ukraine was invaded. The point was to kick the Russians out. That seems reasonable by any standard of fairness and decency. But that's not
nice
what the Biden administration is pushing for. They're pushing for toppling the government of Russia and once again hoping that everything will be fine after, that someone better will somehow take over. He's bad. Let's kill him. Heard that story before? So in response to what Putin just said, Ukraine's government called for an immediate nuclear attack on Russia, an attack that would, without question,
Oh, snap.
result in the immediate destruction of New York, Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, the deaths of tens of millions of Americans. That's what he just said. Sane people do not talk this way, ever. If there was a moment for the Biden administration to shut this whole thing down and force a negotiated peace, which they could do in an instant, that moment is right now, before huge numbers of people die. But that's not what the Biden administration is doing. They're moving in the other direction at high speed and doing all they can to bring the West to the brink of destruction.
Huh, maybe.
At the UN yesterday, Joe Biden accused Russia, not Ukraine, of making overt nuclear threats. Watch.
This war is about extinguishing Ukraine's right to exist as a state, plain and simple, and Ukraine's right to exist as a people.
Hello?
Whoever you are, wherever you live, whatever you believe, that should make your blood run cold. President Putin has made overt nuclear threats against Europe and a reckless disregard for the responsibilities of the non-proliferation regime. We will stand in solidarity with Ukraine.
Double nice.
We will stand in solidarity against Russia's aggression. Period.
Okay, Putin is bad. Fine, agreed. But Putin is making nuclear threats.
What?
Whatever the reason he is making them, the fact he is making them, and the Ukrainians, of course, are also making explicit nuclear threats, is enough for any responsible person to say, now we stop. Especially if that person is the leader of the United States, the country which is funding this war and that could end this war tonight by calling Ukraine to the table. Russian troops leave. Ukraine promises not to join NATO. Everything is as it was in January of this year, and everything's fine. We don't have to worry about New York getting nuked. But that's not what they want. So Joe Biden didn't say a word about America's responsibility here. Again, we are funding.
All right. I think that's about a little bit enough. Of course, definitely that's from the Republic point of view, right? And like I said, what if you're a Republican or Democrat? Are you guys talking about the same country? So you're talking about the same thing. So this is why, regardless if you have a perspective and a point of view, I'm not concerned with that. I'm concerned with the well-being of all the citizens, of all humanity. It's only because of certain situations and historical facts and current dispositions that I do have to take an Afrocentric, Pan-African stance. But by no means. The goal and the aim is always harmony, because the African motto, slogan has always been one love, which we don't need to dispute with no one. All right. But that video that was just shown right there, what's his name? Tucker Clarkson. Just came. I used to see these people all the time, never paid this stuff no mind. And certain things, but now that I'm on this platform and we're dealing with these kind of conversations and reasoning, then it's necessarily for me to even obtain information from both sides and every side. Whatever I see that I think might be appealing in a sense that's put in a logical, reasonable way that I can have some kind of reasonable conversation about, then yes, I'm gonna play it, right? So if you recall what he said in the beginning of that war in Ukraine, the things that he was discussing and saying now, he couldn't say then. And no reporter couldn't say then. So this is what I'm saying. If you remember what I started to say when I began this morning. Right now it's entertaining and it's cool. For those guys that just talk the gossip and the girls that come along, talk about the makeup and the hair, y'all gonna be fine. But for all the people that are out here influencing, so-called inspiring, motivating people, but not just with any old information, but with information and conversations and reasonings such as this, oh no. In those times, you think I just got kicked off of Facebook because of whatever. Oh, please, your whole account would be shut down. Once they view certain comments in here, you just say one or two words based on certain things in the climate of a state of emergency, in the climate of certain things, which is understandable, right? But how free is free, and it's something to consider. Will I shut up? Who knows? Will I become like a wanted journalist? Because that's what's going to happen. You're going to have wanted journalists. And see people like listening, like, oh man, Shaka just, okay. Mm-hmm. Where when, you know, like how pirate radio stations used to be, especially like in Brooklyn, and people who might be in England and some certain other places. When we talk about pirate radio stations, I mean the ones that steal the dial. They jump into the extra spaces in between the numbers, because it's just numbers and math. So if you could jump in onto a number on a certain rhythm, bam, right? Good. And so we started doing that. Then what happened? They used to try to track those things down. You know what I mean? Trying to figure out, you know, where's the pirate radio station? That's how it's going to be. Okay, with the climate of things. And let me tell you something. Before I go into any more video, because I got some more clips. This morning might be a long. Once this thing don't pause and freeze on me, I'm doing my thing. I'm not gonna stop till I feel like this morning. That's my energy. But you know what? Let me do this. Because look at the difference. I believe this should be Roland Martin. The presentation of our intellectuals, man, and man, listen. Let's go.
If you really want to see a video of a really just shameful and pathetic black man, is this dude right here.
I can't believe the hoax, this sham, this absolute injustice justice system. D.A. Bragg and the judge should be ashamed of themselves. This isn't just ridiculous. This actually erodes the confidence that Americans have in the justice system. Unbelievable. Unfreaking believable. But good news is coming. D.A. Bragg, hear me clearly. You cannot silence the American people. You cannot stop us from voting for change. Joe Biden's injustice, Joe Biden's two-tier injustice system, weaponizing the justice system of the United States of America against a political opponent, un-American. Joe Biden, you're fired. We the people stand with Donald Trump. I can't believe the hoax, this sham, this absolute injustice.
Here, how dare you? I mean, this is an abomination. This is a sham, like my engagement. I mean, what am I sitting here talking about? I mean, this is just ridiculous. I mean, Joe Biden, how dare you? No, put Tim in the box. How dare you? I can't believe you. I can't believe y'all did this to my man. All the.
So that's Roland Martin. And let me tell you something. And I spoke about this before. You see how he projected? I mean, there's times, there's different ways he talks and so forth, right? But the projection, is, you know, listen, African descendants in this media form, even the ones that's supposed to be, they're bringing the realest information and all this kind of stuff. And credit go out to Roland. I ain't even think, but listen, I'm just a different cloth. I ain't with that. So anyway, there seems to be, you know, we have this approach, even when like brothers like that who's intelligent, and what's the other guy? He's a sports announcer too, and now that he starts to Steve something, and now he's making political stuff and podcasting and getting into things now, right? Because it's a little money business and this and that. I'm doing this thing here. Listen to me, but the understanding that this here gonna lead me to be public enemy number one. Understand that? All right. Remember, I told you all the projection. Okay. All right. Time is time. We gonna see, because them dudes playing. As you saw what Roland is talking about, that they talking about Donald Trump and the conviction, and so he's showing the footage of another political guy or whatever it is, and it supports Trump, and there's many other videos, and there's this thing. Like, yo, this is a narrative. This is the guy that's talking about we need to go somewhere else with black narrative. And you know why I understand it? Because sometimes the training, the school of thought, it kind of reminds me of one of them Du Bois people too, though. You know what I mean? Where everything is like education is where it's at. That's how you got that when you get to this by in certain things, right? And I could be wrong on that. I ain't even tripping on the brother. You know what I'm saying? This is just analytical times for me to reason and conversate. But when we just sit around and do a lot of talking without not being precise. You see, when I played that dude, that Tucker guy, even if Roland Martin wants to come and certain other people and critique what he has said or what they say, the presentation of the information, the preciseness of certain, with us, it's like a lot of jibber jabbering. It's how you know the talk is full of nonsense. And I'm going to tell you how the talk is full of nonsense. Trump got convicted, 34 counts. Yeah. Is he still going to be able to run for president? Because when he came out of that court, he said, yo, the real jury and decision is going to happen on November 5th. What's your response to that? But you're there responding to, listen to me, what? He's going to get locked up when he's the president? And you have to understand, like they just showed Biden there just now, and I got a couple more videos and stuff. This morning, I'm just doing my thing until they cut me off. You know what I'm saying? Still this stuff act up. But Biden, look at the setup. I'm like, yo, listen to me. This is why I got to smile. And I got to, you know what I'm saying? Like when people like, who you think you are? And, you know, you think, I don't know half of the stuff these dudes know. Roland Martin, all these other cats know all these political people names, the different parties, and this, the history, and this, that. But when it come down to some common sense, little seeing certain stuff and understanding, like, let me tell you something, man. Maybe they too much in the smoke that they don't see the screen. In this day and time, this is a reasoning format. Y'all just want music or something, go somewhere else. This is the day and time. When I was a teenager, which is just a few years ago, let's say 20 years ago, when you said you did music, you're an entertainer, and there was somebody that had connections. Let's say this person came to the neighborhood, came to the community, they're on the block or something, wherever you are. And then the person, somebody who you're with or that knows you says, hey, to this person that has these keys and doors of opportunity, yo, my person right here, my man or my homegirl, they could rap, they could sing, whatever. They could do both. At those times, the 100% response was, let me hear you. Let me hear what you can do. Today, it's not that. Today, it's, oh, let me see your social media. So if you go on, you see this person, you got like 200 views and certain little things, it's not, the numbers are not up there. It's not peaking. It's not popping. You know what I mean? It ain't busting. And they're like, go ahead and work on that. Maybe you might be lucky somebody hear you and they like whatever, and they have some kind of machine that they're connected to, and they might be willing to invest some kind of money to deal with promotions and promoting you to get your numbers up on social media platform. Those things do happen. But the point that I'm making is it's the social media platform. There's a conversation about, pollution. You see, when they're ready to change and do certain things, there's a lot of things going on. So, I touch on a whole lot of different things. They bring in policies, right? When they want to change certain things, they bring in medical policies. It always comes to something that, the most popular thing that I learned, like working in working environments, is words like safety, out of harm's reach, feeling threatened, right? Like, yo, when you say certain things, there are COVID. This is how they were able to do certain things. Medical alert. It came through the medical. marijuana, to pass the laws of marijuana, to stop it in the beginning and back in the days. And then to bring it back, they used the window of medical. So now one of the windows is being used is the environment. And the environment been going on long. Miss Sophia was on the chat, and I believe she one of the comments I read, she's talking about climate change and how it's raining more down in Antigua, where she's at. Right. And people would say, well, you know, that's based on the pollution, et cetera, et cetera. Been going on. But when there's an agenda to introduce electric technology to now the industrial markets. So what that means is you already know we have the cars, right? So that's part that's going to help with that, right? So you need laws now and certain things that's going to be put into place that's going to outlaw eventually anybody driving down the street with a gas that's letting off gasoline. And so the people who are the power players, they're the ones that get to invest and set that stage. Elon Musk, he's like the global president. Make no mistake about it. Right? Or if he's not, he's the vice president. He's the man next to the man. Because that's damn sure an agenda from coming from his side of technology. Not today, because I need to really dissect that speech when Donald Trump made his speech in the NRA, the National Rifles Association, the other day in Texas. Right? And he said, oh, that's what I'm saying. Because when he goes in there, he's going to change those policies to bring in the electrical technology. So he's like, hey, you know, we got this electrical technology. We need to, pollution is the most dangerous thing. And if I'm not mistaken, I think like a long time ago, he was one of the people who was talking about pollution is like craziness, right? But don't worry, I got some research to do. So let me continue. So he's like, now we have to move to electric, and or even taking it to our military, where we'll have these electrical planes and certain kind of even missiles and all types of different arsenals and stuff that's electrically designed instead of using fuel or any type of other kind of liquid or something, right? Aha. So they doing it. Okay, so it's that time. I gotta wrap this up. I might come back and messing with me today. All right, family. Give me a second. Hey, all right. Let me see something. Am I back? All right. Look like I'm back. I was about to restart this and come again, but I'm gonna just continue where I'm at. All right. So let me type in this chat real quick that I'm back. And I don't have time to punctuate when I'm here. So I'm back. Yeah, so when you see Trump making this speech at the NRA in Texas the other day, and mind you already know that's one of the most powerful, organizations in America. And he says, they want to he's bringing in this electrical technology. So if a lot of people that don't follow certain news and certain stuff, Elon Musk is a man that also had met with Donald Trump recently within these times. And so there were certain conversations, depending on what you're listening to, and certain stuff that, the compromised, the compromising of a president or someone in a position of power. Because what they're saying is, the strategy they're trying to do was trying to bankrupt the brother. But still with him being knowledgeable enough to utilize the crooked system in which it is, because he knows the crooked ways and how the crooked ways goes. And so by him able to maneuver out of that, it still didn't stop them from affecting him economically. But even just like you saw the other day, in the midst of his trial, and this is what I'm going to get to, with some of the things I'm talking about. Even with his trial the other day in the conviction, he went and still raised how much? Over 200 million in that short space of time, right? So, all right. Give thanks to those who's still here, But like I was saying, me, Sophia, this stuff is recorded, so they could go back and check it out. So, Elon Musk visited Trump, and so the conversation about a president being compromised is, if your economics is down, and this cat is like, look, listen, because that's how politicians get paid. Make no thing about it. It's on the Caribbean, like, oh, they're corrupted. No, they just have a smaller pie to eat from. Okay, when you're in a country like America, there are so many billionaires and millionaires around, and hundreds of thousands, like countless of people, countless of businesses and factories that, what I'm saying, so much compared to these little islands and stuff where like 1-2 person that got this and a couple of people that get this and that. It's a different thing. All right, so compromised, you ain't got the bread. This is what the politicians do. They make the deals, and somewhere under certain deals, there's a funding that happens. And that's how they get someone, this person got caught up. No, it's just that this person didn't do it the right way, follow the dot and the T, because it's a certain way you got to do it like this and like that's how politicians get paid. So when Donald Trump is talking all this about bringing in the electric and taking the electric to the fullest level, understanding the meetings from Elon Musk being compromised, needing to build up back your economics. But at the same time, who knows? If Donald Trump still had all his bread, would he not still play a card with Elon Musk? Would it probably not be the way in which to go? So you see, it's the narrative. So I don't really get into all of that. I'm into the information for us to understand what's necessarily going on, right? So when you look at this thing, they got to set up into what I was about to get into very passionately, all right, about Trump versus Biden. And does Biden, listen to me. If you're a human being out here with some real intelligence, just looking at Biden alone, you can say what you want to say. There's no choice. So what I was talking about also about in the times when somebody used to say, oh, kick something for me versus let me see a social media, is because today they have made, this is why he's proven and showed I can raise this 200 million and plus and more in this time frame and short space of time. Because why? I am the most popular man around the world. What are you talking about? I am on at some point in time in the day, right now, for months now, Donald Trump is played on every second. What do I mean by that? It's similar to when they said about the British Empire that the sun never sets on the British Empire. Why? Because they had colonies and colonized people, you know what I'm saying, in different polarities of the globe, in the east, the west, the north, the south. So it's like, when it's nighttime in this place in the south, right, it might be daytime across the globe on the north. And we got property there too. That's us too. That's also England. Right? So that's what it means when they say the sun don't set. Right? Because your hand stretched out in a lot of places. The setup is real. The setup is very real. Because that guy has no chance against Trump. And they can't wait for the face-off. What they're trying to do is see if something can come up in that time that can infringe on him getting to that point. If they're able to stop him and get to then, but if not, there's no stopping. Let me play something. It's a little comedy, right? Where this guy at? Yeah. It got a little comedic twist to it. But at the same time, we'll come back and reason. There's some information in there. Like I said, I'm pushing it today. For those who could stay, appreciate it. It's uploaded. Will be on YouTube if you missed it.
I am loving all of the videos and the memes just dogging Donald Trump. Hillary Clinton had this to say last night.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Anything going on today?
Wow. I hope, let me see something. I hope I wasn't talking. What are you talking about? Oh. I am on at some point in time in the day right now. Okay, good. I was like, okay, so my video control was muted. I'm not even gonna play that one. I thought that was something else. I'm not getting into him. That was another Roland Martin and they foolishness. But you know what? Let's do this one.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I rise in support of my amendment. My amendment is simple. It would prevent taxpayer funds from paying for State Department employees to travel to or attend events hosted by the Clinton Global Initiative. The rationale is quite simple. The Clinton Global Initiative has engaged in blatant corruption and influence peddling that would make even Hunter Biden blush. In perhaps its most famous episode in 2014, Hillary Clinton approached the Moroccan government about hosting a Clinton Global Initiative conference in Morocco. The Moroccans fronted the money for the event by funneling it through a state-owned enterprise that was extracting and exploiting phosphates from a non-self-governing territory, Western Sahara. This sleight of hand amounted to condoning Morocco's sovereignty over this disputed land. You heard that right. It was cash for sovereignty deal formulated just as former Secretary of State Clinton began her run for president of the free world. This deal was so rotten that even the Huffington Post deemed Fox News' investigation into this matter a, quote, brutal, clean hit on Hillary Clinton's campaign, end quote. Indeed, the Clinton Global Initiative scandals are myriad and include an episode uncovered by the New York Times revealing undisclosed donations linked to the sale of U.S. uranium production to a Russian government agency. As expected, the Clinton Global Initiative was unable to withstand the scrutiny and shuttered shortly after the 2016 campaign. That is, until late last year, when the organization reconstituted itself. Its operations are no longer dark, and this is the first state and foreign operations appropriations bill considered since its resurrection. It has since morphed into a factory of radical elitist woke schemes. Just last week, the Clinton Global Initiative convened in New York to discuss how to reshape our economy to tackle the left's pet projects that will make life for ordinary Americans more expensive and worse. Given the State Department's enmeshment with the Clintons and the initiative, we need to send a clear message. No more coordination with the U.S. government, no more conferences with corrupt governments at the expense of the oppressed people of the globe, no more representation and participation by the State Department, an end to its commingling with official policy, and hopefully the beginning of the end of this corrupt organization's influence on U.S. policymaking. Americans simply can't afford more radical policies purveyed by an organization that allows the global elite to buy and influence American foreign policy. Join me in condemning the Clinton Global Initiative's misconduct. I urge my colleagues to support my amendment, and I reserve the balance of my time.
The gentlewoman from North Carolina reserves. For what purpose does the gentlewoman from California?
So there was another rebuttal. I should have played it too, because they sent a representative. That's the one thing about StreamYard. That sometimes I get used to some of these programs, and then you realize something, and it doesn't have the option to like fast forward. At least I haven't figured it out yet, or to put it at a precise timing, like OBS when I used to operate that at the station. So, based on what she was just saying, this is what politicians been doing all the time. So that's why I'm saying how I should have let it play after her, but this is a little bit too much little unnecessary talking. They had the representative for the Clinton, which is a African descendant young lady that's representing them, and her response was like, the lady kept coming back like, why are you not answering the questions? And she's like, well, we're just the organization is here to promote, global love and this and that, whatever. And then she's like, because the whole thing is, her reaction, what it's saying is, man, the game. What it is y'all just trying to catch us with our hand in a cookie jar, right? And this is not now, right? So when we talk about narratives and even smoke screens, when you talk about the Clintons and how they, look what they say they were in a study recently, and that's a recent video. This is like a couple of weeks ago or days ago. Not even weeks, matter of fact. I think it's like a couple of days ago, right? And they're studying how to make the life for the common citizen more worse, how to make them more poor. Why? Because they benefit off of the poor in many different ways. So that's why when you hear people say the Clintons in the policy making and what they did, they basically actually kind of like through business structures and deal are like part owners of Haiti, right? And if you know the history of Haiti and what it means to African descendants, like that right there is an abomination. You understand what I'm saying, right? So when they point out these things and we're talking about corruption in Guyana, this and that, what it is the cookie jar is too small. So when they taking out, it's not enough to still, pass around. In here, when they got a whole lot, they're still not passing it around. Look what they're studying. Huh? How to, deprive. Because now it's like look at what happens with Haiti in certain places when, you're deprived, you need this and that. This is where you get the welfare, you get the handouts, you get the packages of this. Now you can get poisons, you can get all kinds of stuff. You get the medicine with the experiments, all kinds of stuff you are open to. Because now you're going to be exploited because you're put in a vulnerable position. You know what I'm saying? Right? And this same Hillary Clinton, look at this here. This is, I believe this is Roland Martin, what I was going to play. And he's talking, because right in the beginning, he's talking about Hillary Clinton. That's what I'm saying. Like these guys, they're just, there's really the people who are supposed to be talking like neutrally to educate, they're really not. They're coming from some kind of influence and some kind of fence. You know what I'm saying? So I hope that, y'all stay away from me. We're trying to get endorsements because I ain't with it. I'm not on no fence. I'm not doing none of this. If you have an offer, this business it will be done in the name of business. It's just business, but not in the name of your party and who you represent. And if that cannot be differentiated, then there's nothing to be done. You understand me? But look at this dude.
Who I am loving all of the videos and the memes just dogging Donald Trump. Hillary Clinton had this to say last night.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Anything going on today?
I bet she's saying hashtag, I tried to tell you. All right, y'all, this Law and Order send up really.
Hashtag, I try to tell you. See, I'm not even going to continue playing his stuff because all he kept doing was playing roles and clips of other media outlets that had shameful stuff or whatever to say about what happened to Trump. And so this is what I'm saying. If this man, based on this conviction, is not going to jail and is not stopping him at this point in time from running for president and getting elected as the next president of the United States, only thing you're doing is promoting. You already know what's the rules out here. There ain't no such thing as bad press when you in this thing on a certain level. And all you're doing is promoting. Now on your show, Donald Trump, look at this. The 34 charges. And then people still gonna go out to the poll later on and what you're gonna come and you shouldn't even, like, for you to have to later on come and cover that his presidential debate or speech or whatever in certain things later on, knowing that you're gonna have to do that, then you should not even be out here right now saying what you're saying. Like, because what it is idiocracy. You know what I'm saying? Painted and disguised as intelligence and diplomacy and informative. It's not. It's informative on a certain level. You got to use heavy filter. And you better come from the school of Dr. Ben and Dr. Clark to have some constructive way of knowing how to approach how these people talking about what they talking about. Let me see. What's this other little clip right here? Because I got something else to say. Let me see what's this. And I'm about to wrap it up in a little bit, probably the next 15 minutes.
Prime time, our job is to hold powerful people accountable. When the rest of the media ignores the bad behavior of the Bidens, the Pelosi's, or the Clintons, and everybody in between, we step in. But we also have to give credit where credit's due. Biden was in Arizona today celebrating a new computer chip factory here in America.
We'll construct a second fab here in Phoenix to build chips, the 3 nano chips, the 3 nano chip. Chips that are 3 nano. And you know what I'm saying.
You know what he's saying.
I got to stop the one and start it again. That's what I'm saying. The setup is something historical.
Prime time, our job is to hold powerful people accountable. When the rest of the media ignores the bad behavior of the Bidens, the Pelosi's, or the Clintons, and everybody in between, we step in. But we also have to give credit where credit's due. Biden was in Arizona today celebrating a new computer chip factory here in America.
We'll construct a second fab here in Phoenix to build chips, the 3 nano chips, the 3 nano chip. Chips that are 3 nano. And you know what I'm saying.
You know what he's saying.
Howdy.
He's trying to say this is a gut punch to China. Anytime we bring jobs to America and gain control of the chip supply chain, it's a win. But we're dealing with Democrats here. So this $40 billion factory, it's going to take years to finish, and executives are going to skim off probably half the budget. The last thing Biden funded in Phoenix was an anti-racist birdwatching bridge to nowhere. And that's going to take at least 5 years to build and costs $25 million. A semiconductor factory seems a little more complicated.
Huh?
And as with most of these government projects, Democrat donors are probably going to get the contracts. All of a sudden, the $40 billion turns into $85 billion. And we're keeping an eye on the Pelosi family. The Pelosi's love computer chips. They had billions, millions invested in NVIDIA, all set and ready to go for the CHIPS Act to pass. Another perfectly timed trade. But then prime time and the unusual whales called him out. They were forced to sell. For the first time in a long time, Paulie P took a loss. And don't forget when Nancy snuck her son, the Fresh Prince of San Francisco, Paulie P. Jr., onto her little plane to Asia. Remember? She took him to check out some of the semiconductor factories in Asia, despite him being about as qualified as Hunter. She tried to hide him in the shadows, but Primetime spotted him lurking behind some heavy-hitting Malaysians. Nancy didn't want us to know about him. He's on the payroll of 2 lithium mining companies, and Asia just happens to be a lithium gold mine. We know it pays to be a Pelosi. How are they going to use this factory in Arizona to tack on a few more zeros to their fortune? We'll be watching closely. It's good to bring manufacturing back to America, but Biden's trip to Arizona today, pure politics. This is a ribbon-cutting ceremony on a plant that hasn't been built.
Doesn't sound right.
He's just driving headlines in a battleground state and patting himself on the back for the chips bill. No surprise there. It's part of the game. Both sides do it.
All right. So that's basically, I'm saying, same thing I'm talking about. Just putting different little pieces in different ways. And that's what I'm saying. Look what he's talking about. What happens in the Caribbean? Right? Same thing. People talking about copyright, this, that, and the music and the artists not getting paid. And this is what, listen, what's happening here in the top country? Then you're going to understand what TV they watching in the Caribbean. You go there right now, bet you they ain't watching no local nothing. Most of the people, take a survey of the population. I know in Guyana for certain they not. They're watching what's up in America. They could call you and tell you more about what's going on here. They're watching the news because for them, the news is informative information. Look at the picture with the news paints. For them, that's how they know about America, the news. Because everything else is TV shows and stuff, right? It's something that's put together, but the news tells you like what's real time that's happening in America. So here they're doing the same thing, but on a different level. If you say, oh, you know, back on there, this person got a contract, I know they're mining office, you know, them ones up there, they're putting up big buildings now and they're doing this and really? There need to be real serious. This is why we have to take back control of our schools. And for me personally, you see, this is where, for me, I've drawn a line. That's why I can only come and talk at this point in time, because I do not endorse anything. And I say it again, I do not endorse anything from the European construct to what they introduced. Not until I'm able to examine it. If you're presented and it's examined and certain things, and I'll say, okay, cool, that might be something that could be worked. And I'm sure it's going to need alterations. All right. But what they call school and all that, and this whole nonsense, all of that was created is just to put you into the industrial revelation. What they did was even dumb down humanity, especially the African descendants and the traditions that we had. But the way they projected to you, they'll say, oh, you know, at 12 and 13, you were working. That was child labor and stuff like that. And they were promoting certain things. But when you check it out, the maturity level, dealing with the fact that you now went through puberty and biologically, you know what I'm saying, able to reproduce. And yes, now you are capable of being responsible, having the most highest responsibility as a human being, which is to bring another human being in the world. And so there was never a teenage category, but they created that to create the schools. So they create a way to indoctrinate us because we already had a natural way of socializing us naturally into the society based on our talents, abilities, the family were into, what they were already doing, etc., etc. What they do in practice today, now that they have the upper hand in the position, after they disrupted your flow of what your normalcy used to be. And then you turn around and you're confused in their system. Talking about, oh, what they're doing politically. This is what they done. This is what it always was. Okay? When you look at what's going on, the extraction of goods from what you so-called call third world countries, which when you say third world and first world, there's two different ways to look at that perspective, at least to what I'm going to talk about right now. You can look at it from the economical development perspective, and you could say, yes, first world from that perspective. When you look at it from the perspective of natural resources, that what the first world needs to even make these products to make them the first world country to begin with, then it switches. The first world would be the countries with the resources. The second world would be the ones that don't and waits and needs that to do something with it. So we don't even understand that there's an intent. Just like how the Clintons had that study that the representative in the White House was just talking about, or the lady in the Congress or wherever they was at, right? And she said, you know, they're tired of doing this and doing that with the Clinton and using government money. Really? So you get one person out, that's going to stop what's going on. So when you're in them third world countries, you got to understand what's going on. Even the way when I was just talking about the resources in history, when the Greeks and the Romans came and they was invaded what they call Egypt today, but ancient, as they would say, or in time of antiquity, all that back in our golden age before it was disrupted. I call it before the disruption. Right? Before the disruptive era. One of the things that led to the decline in the economy of what you call Egypt, known as Kemet and other names, Tamari, etc., from the African perspective, you can see the documentation of this is the place that did first, productions of grains on certain levels, paintings, art, chemistry, and name it. This is why we have the pyramids, and they have to take it and put it on their own dollar bills, take all the obelisks and all that stuff from out of there and put it into all the dominant first world nations. You're going to take this stuff out of Africa and put it in your country that represented power in that country and bring it here in those ancient times, but we didn't mean nothing. Please understand the game. So what they did then was they started what they still doing now. They started to extract all of the resources and stuff from out of Egypt, where the Africans were, and sending it to Rome and Europe and making commerce and money, getting rich even since that time, before we was even into, the money game that they were doing. They started doing it then. And that it created famine and even starvation of the people, even in Egypt. That's how come the masses of the native blacks influx left. One of the reasons. Okay? One of the main reasons. The starvation, the deprivation of the land, the draining of its resources. So what do they do today? They make sure they keep you poor, just as the Clintons were studying how to make life worse for the poor people. Why? Because now you're in our need. We offer you this, we offer you that. You have to come to us. And then we write grants and checks to ourselves, saying that this is what we're going to give to you to pay you, but it's really from us. It comes back to us and we're paying ourselves and we're eating off of it. Because we got the people in the same positions in the political offices and companies and businesses in that country and so forth that we're lending the money to that's going to give it right back. They're going to spend something. You know how I go. It's how the funneling. They call it funnel. When you pour oil, you need a funnel to one thing from one bottle into the next, so the thing don't spill over and it's a smooth little operation, right? So, let me run a commercial. I'm gonna run a quick little commercial, and then I'm gonna wrap it up. All right. Blessed love, family. See, I'm gonna wrap it up. Hey, Biggs, I see you in the comments there. You know, when I be talking and I be doing my thing, because I don't have one of those, I'm on my laptop, but you know, I'm putting it together, understanding my idea so I can get a bigger screen, at least you know what I'm saying, one of those small TV screens or something, and I'll be more able to maneuver, split screens, and do all kinds of stuff. You understand what I'm talking about? You know, but I do need y'all help and assistance to share and spread, you know what I'm saying, even copy and paste the link from YouTube onto your Facebook, your Instagram, or whatever platform that you're on. You know what I'm saying? Let y'all people know, because YouTube for now, at least, is the only people that are allowing me to broadcast without cutting me off and kicking me out and doing all this excessive madness. So check this out. I almost forgot about this. So watch how we talking about the cards and the games of play. I spoke earlier about Trump meeting up with Elon Musk. And wow, I got this thing that be happening to me sometimes. It's like I be having like 50 million thoughts in my head and they be fighting to get out. And then like sometimes the one that want to come out get pushed out the way. You're like, yo, move from out of here. And then another time be like, nah, that's not what I'm going for. Where you at? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know, it's how yeah, that's a little insight to my mind. But Elon Musk bought Twitter for an outlandish price from an investment perspective. And I remember 50 Cent, who usually has a cooler analytical view on how we give things information. And so he was asked that question, like, what do you think about it? And he said, well, when he saw Elon Musk did something like that, then he didn't really realize how important and how serious that platform is. But 50 cents is tricky. And when you're in certain positions, because these people are not like, they're not a person like me that's going against the grain, and they're business people trying to, so they're going to throw a little bit of jewels and say just a little one or two. And if you're on it or not, then you're able to know what to pick up. So basically, when he said that he didn't understand the value, you don't understand the value of Facebook? You don't understand the value of Instagram? The value of TikTok? He does, because he utilizes it very well. So if this is the dude that's going to be bringing in the electrical vibrations, the dude that Trump is kicking it like, yo, we're going to pass these bills to bring in such and such and such. When it's time for the election and all that too, when it's time and it's time for information to be in the system, because when you own a engine like a Facebook, an Instagram, TikTok, a Twitter, you're in a different kind of umbrella with your antennas and your satellites and where you're coming from and how you're funneling and how your things is moving, your algorithm collectively as a company. It's a lot of help. You understand what I'm saying? Because remember, the accusation is even that the Russians helped Trump to get elected the last time with using the internet, right? So, and you know, that's like when Bush came in, and I remember when, see people going, because Bush, what happened? Bush didn't take it. We have more than one. This is why when my man coming, he's saying, and when I say my man, it ain't my man, but you know, this is how we talk. So when Trump, like I said, I don't care. I'm dealing with the narrative of what it is. When my man Trump comes up there and he says, yo, I'll be losing my yo, I want to say so many different things at times, right? But listen, these people are full of it. So with as far I was talking about that whole Elon Musk vibration in the Twitter and understanding the power of, you know what I'm saying, controlling the narrative. Yes, and I was talking about Russia. See, it comes back to me because all different types of things I'm thinking about, got all my notes and stuff. You know, I have still yet to quite understand what they mean by that, right? With the whole how they got into their system. But the Bush, that's where I was going with it. George Bush was the dude that I remember when he stole it and took it too. Not stolen, took it, he strong-armed it. And many others did. You know what I'm saying? JFK, the strong arm, all that. I mean, by the influence of who putting you in there, who's behind you. Because if you didn't have a certain influence, some of these people won't, New York City, see how alive it is? You got to hear the sirens and all that. Right? So, Brooklyn, and I ain't even jumping up claiming none of that. These people things. So, to a certain degree, but it's these people things. So when all that chit chat that people barely be having, it's like, I mean, we have to really understand this game that's going on. There's a whole lot of different narratives. So Bush brought in the computer. They were like, this is the safer way, if I'm not mistaken. And then I remember there was that whole talk about, well, the computers could be hacked. And I think it was something like that had to do with the hacking of the computers. Like I said, man, I do not profess to be one of those people to be on this and that. Just go pull it up. We have Google time. Talk to AI. And then y'all can even hit me up in the comment and let me know what's that. If I'm paying attention, I'll know. It's X now, not Twitter. What? They changed the name. It's called X. Man, let me tell you, that's the biggest tattoo I have all across my back for years. You know what I'm saying? Because it means something. Peter Tosh was known as the Red X. Because anytime he signed Malcolm X, right? What does that mean? What is he saying? He Xing out, changing it. You know what I'm saying? They if you put 3X or triple X, you're going into whatever is the triple X. It don't just mean they only put triple X into meaning like adult stuff. It's not that. This means whatever goes. On whatever level. Violence to this, to that, to that, all out. Mad Max. Madness to the max. You know what I'm saying? Those are the times that we're about to get into. Feel what I'm saying? Because I know that there's no accident, because I don't have no drive to just be some famous podcasting, talking person that got stuff to say. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's anything, it's to be the most informative, where people could really like count on getting pure information, pure conversation, pure reasoning. You know what I'm saying? And if I'm going to slip at any time on certain, like, let me know. And I'm sure if I am on a leaning position, I'm going to have a way to, to explain myself. But 9 out of 10, I'm not leaning. You know what I'm saying? Transparency, the best thing. And Dirk, I lived a wild life. So it's like, hey, I already prepared myself. Like, listen, whatever they're going to come up with, you just got to bite it, eat it. But guess what? You're moving straight ahead. That's what I'm talking about. Right? So I'm going to tie this up. It's almost going into 2.5 hours, and I could continue talking a little bit for now, but tomorrow's another day, right? And so tonight might even be a broadcasting. I might be doing a broadcasting. And so if that's happening tonight, Reasoning After Dark in partnership with New York City After Dark and Talk of the Town Radio, I'll let y'all know. Definitely, I guess flyers or little promotion stuff will be posted and stuff for y'all to know what time to tune in and so forth. And the later it gets, it's the more radical I get. You know what I'm saying? I know when I was on the radio, at first when I was saying I was coming doing my morning thing, some people probably got a little thing, whatever. And it's still open to that if I feel like it. But smoking and doing certain stuff in the morning time and having a certain conversation, once I'm by myself, doesn't feel too natural. When there are other people and then somebody else could talk, and then I'm taking a break and so forth, then it's a little bit more fitting. Explain what the X is. Oh wow. All right, tomorrow I'm gonna take up on what the X is. You got it. I'm gonna make a note. I'm gonna make a note right now. You know what I'm saying? That one there will take us into some deep science. I got, you know what? I like doing this live here coming. Let me tell you one thing that happened to me doing this live independently is that the ideas, the responsibility, the room for growth. Because as I'm saying that, I'm thinking, how could I implement like, or can I implement like, what they call that thing? Like a WordPress or PowerPoint or something like that, where I can possibly draw and do certain things where the screen is split or something. You can see diagrams. Because as you asked me about explaining the X in the comment, Miss Sophia, that's what came to my mind. So, you know, I'm gonna think about it because these things are important for growth and even the way that I would appreciate even communicating. It's very interesting. So, and if anybody has some information about that, hit me up. Let me know if you already know how I can incorporate like a second window and so forth, where I'm actually can access doing drawing, writing, and demonstrative stuff in real time. Okay, because it won't be an issue to make a video and put certain things in a video and construct that and then play the video. But also to do something in real time will be exciting, you know, and because real time is real time, you know. It's like y'all talking to me on the phone versus if right now we're in the same space, in the same area, and having that same conversation. A lot of us when we watching the time like that, we're doing like, hey, we take a break, this and that. We'll get you whatever, come back and start, you know what I'm saying whatever you had to say. And a lot of people who are just looking might not say nothing in smaller spaces and so forth are even more interactive. You know what I mean? So let's see, man. There's so many windows and things to go. You know, there's a possibility, who knows, before the summer is over, I might say, listen, you know what? I'm doing a Reasoning Uncensored breakfast where, and it's coming to me right now as I'm talking to you, because this is just how life is. Where, you know, I speak to them and do a breakfast, but I do my live from there and possibly have the camera, but that's how I want to have it set up, where the audience and everybody, those who support, and they don't have to be a big amount of it. However, how many can show up that supports? 9 out of 10 will be in Brooklyn, right? And we can have it live in the morning, Reasoning Uncensored breakfast. And maybe there's certain questions and certain things that people have that, you know, who might not want to speak or typing and do stuff on the social media, might not have a problem talking face to face, right? So y'all let me know if you think that's a good idea. And I think I'm just gonna go ahead with that because it just sounds good to me. But just to come, you know, I love it when it comes, you know, ask a musician or artist, like when it comes to like lyrics and music. The best thing, you hear that beat and some boom, and what comes, the first set of things that come to your mind is usually, if you can record that and capture it, and then you got to probably work on it a little bit and after that and rearrange it. But woo, that's where the juice is at. Look at that. You know what I'm saying? I don't even want to go. You know, I used to wonder, well, how come people be having podcasts? Boy, 2 hours, 3 hours, well, what's going on with that? So, yes, I know. But look, listen, yeah, I'm going think it up, you know, with them, and they keep, you know, censoring me anyway. So I'm gonna just keep playing my promotional video and song anyway. Blessed love, family, guidance on y'all going out and coming in. May you be harmonious as possible in your region, your geographical location, and give thanks for life. We'll all do blessings. We'll meet again. New day going forward.
This is the Royal Rock. Is the one and only Shocker Double. Don't forget to tune into Reasoning Uncensored, 8 to 10 a.m. Monday to Friday on all social media platforms.
Is Reasoning Uncensored. No smoke screen, no filter. Open mind, no enter. It's something you remember. Is Reasoning Uncensored. No smoke screen, no filter. Open mind, no enter. It's something you remember. I'm a baby in a stroller. In due time, I get to know ya. As we talking, the baby grow up. lasso, bring out wheelbarrow. Here today, don't know tomorrow. Subscribe, like and follow. We deep, we ain't shallow. Is reasoning uncensored. No smoke screen, no filter. Open mind, no enter. It's something you remember. Is reasoning uncensored. No smoke screen, no filter. Open mind, no enter. It's something you remember. While light up.